Howdy folks, my name is General Soulfax and you're watching War Thunder Ground Forces. This is a simulated battle ground forces match on the Mozdok map and I'm taking off in my Pzkpfw IV H. Now recently I've been getting quite frustrated playing this game as Germany, not as Russia. I'm really loving my time in Russia because we're gonna talk about it in the next episode of German Stellinium. But the point I'm trying to make is, even though I get frustrated playing some matches, these kind of matches, even though, spoiler warning, we didn't win this match, make the game worth playing. Now, like I said, I'm taking off in my Pzkpfw IV H, and the first order of business is drop that 500 kilo bomb that I have attached to my fuselage. I quite prefer the Pzkpfw 190 A5 U2 over just the basic A5 variant for a few reasons. Mainly it's got better flight characteristic, which means it goes faster and it turns and climbs just a little bit better than the A5, and in normal air simulated battles it is a big advantage over the A5. Now naturally that comes at a cost, at better performance. You lose 2 of your MGFF guns, which means you only limited to 2 20mm guns. But in ground forces that's not such a big a deal, especially because you can carry the 500 kilo bomb when the A5 can only carry the 2 rockets. And the 500 kilo bomb, in my experience, gives you a better result when you're trying to kill a single target, and of course you can get lucky and find 2 targets clumped up together and kill them both with one strike. 1, 2, 3, and I also find that players that fly aircrafts in ground forces are a lot easier to deal with than normal air simulated battle players. It probably comes down to the fact that they usually fly out in bombers and attackers or just fighters with bombs on them, and the fact that the fighting is concentrated over a relatively small area and it's very easy to get a energy advantage over your opponent. So as I'm making my initial dive over the battlefield, there's a few things I need to point out. Mainly the render distance at which enemy tanks render and friendly tanks render in ground forces air simulated battles is that it's just very limited. As you can see, I'm a few kilometers over the battlefield, and up to this point I've not able to spot a single enemy tank, and now I spot a T-34-85, luckily because he fired his cannon. So I get nice in and close, drop my bomb on his face and pull out. Now at this point I spot this, which appears to be a Typhoon, and this is exactly what I was talking about just a second ago. He's obviously not an experienced player because he didn't dive down very steeply, he didn't get enough altitude, thus not having a lot of speed and energy, which makes him very easy picking for me. Also, another thing that he's doing is that he is focusing and tunnel visioning on that ME410, which makes it again very easy picking for me because up to this point I've already put in a few shots into him, which is kind of weird because my shooting here is very bad. The reason for that is that I've gotten very rusty. I've kind of neglected playing simulated air battles because of the German Stellinium series that I'm doing and because of all the videos that I've done currently. Well, this is quite embarrassing because at this point I've wasted most of my ammo on trying to take down a single Typhoon, and it's my fault really. He gave me a lot of good shots like this right here. He's in a very wide turn, I'm in a Pzkpfw 109, I can outturn him and get a very good lead, but I just continue spamming shots and not hitting him. I'm really rusty because I've started grinding my first jet, the ME163B, and I've gotten very frustrated whilst flying Tier 4 Germany. Now he finally goes down and I can get back to the airfield and try to reload, but for some reason I don't decide to do that, and I'm basically now on 17 cannon ammo, and that's not a very good thing to be in, not a very good position to be in when you're in a Pzkpfw 109. 109? Pzkpfw 190, excuse me. We're gonna skip forwards in the replay just a little bit here. I'm still circling over the battlefield, and no, I did not go back to the airfield and rearm. And while I do notice this IL-2 here, I was not very confident in taking him down. I do make a very good approach up from above him, and I do get a nice lead, start shooting, get no critical hits in the first pass, put another few shots into him, and it's at this point I run out of cannon ammo because I spent them all trying to take down that Typhoon. I go back up, try and get some altitude on him to go for another pass, and I lose him in the trees. So while I'm going down there and trying to find him very close to the surface, I do spot him, but the thing is, that's an IL-2 Sturmikov, and an IL-2 Sturmikov was called during the World War II the flying tank. It was called the flying tank because it's got armor all over the place. The wings are not armored, but they are not filled with gas tanks. And another thing is, its fuselage, the nose and the cockpit and everything is so well armored that a pilot snipe is out of the question here. And for whatever reason, I don't know why I'm flying this bad, I went in a yo-yo maneuver. with the freaking IL-2, and I messed it up so completely badly that I'm very close to spending my magazine ammo, and the MG ammo, and the MGs on the Focke-Wulf 190 are only 7mm, so they're not very good. And for the second time in this little dogfight, well, dogfighting an IL-2 is not a very bad thing, not a very hard thing to do, I managed to lose him because reasons. It's very hard to see Russian aircrafts with a backdrop like this, and I'm having a lot of trouble both in ground forces battles and in normal L-simulator battles while actually tracking people that are very low and very close to me. So we're skipping forward in the replay a little bit. After doing a few turns around the battlefield and looking around, I did finally notice this IL-2 again. But the thing is, I'm still down to my machine guns and I only got a few rounds left, so I try to put a few rounds in him and he dives down away from me and tries to go for a rocket run. I take my aim again and I try to shoot him again, but the thing is, I think I completely missed because he did crash here, but I didn't get a kill or an assist, so I'm quite sure that I missed and the game just didn't register that I shot him just a few minutes ago. Now I do try to get some altitude here, but I do notice a dogfight happening behind me, so that's an MA-410 fighting what appears to be some kind of Russian plane, probably a Yak or an LA-5. Now the thing that I should have done in this situation is not turn after him. I should have gotten back up to altitude and try and boom and zoom him, but the thing is, I did turn after him. He's again turning towards me, so I pull up my nose and try to see if he's gonna pass beneath me so I can dive on him. He does pass beneath me, but I'm a little bit too slow and he manages to pull his nose up and go to an Immelman turn. What I should have done here is just pull up, not following in this freaking turn, because everybody knows that LA-5s and Yaks have amazing energy retention, and I at this moment just completely forgot about that, and I followed him in his turn, lost most of my energy, and now I need to break off. And at this speed and at this altitude, an LA-5 or even a Yak-9 is gonna catch a Focke-Wulf 190 every day, all day. At this point in the match, we didn't lose anything, but most of our tanks are already dead, and most of the enemy tanks are already dead, because, like I mentioned in my last video, Germany is doing quite a lot better since the last patch, but let's just focus on this fight here. So I'm running away from this LA-5, trying to see if he is behind me, and I think at this point I do notice him, and I try to make some soft evasive actions, and the only advantage that a Focke-Wulf 190 has over any Russian plane at low altitude is its turn rate. The turn rate in the Focke-Wulf 190 and trying to outturn, not turn rate, excuse me, roll rate, oh my god, I said turn rate. The roll rate of the Focke-Wulf 190 is really good, and you can make your opponent mess up, and you can get them off your 6 very easily if you know what you're doing. And in this clip, I really didn't do anything well. I thought I got rid of him, but look at this, he just pulls one nice shot over me and there goes my elevator, and I'm so close to the airfield. Now, the reason why I was going back to the airfield, because the airfield AA guns are sometimes very good, but in this particular moment, they were not. I am on fire, my elevator is broken. Luckily I was flying straight, but since I'm on fire and this is a German plane, it's gonna collapse into a million pieces in just a few seconds. And surprise, surprise, the friendly AA, the airfield anti-aircraft guns, failed to kill that LA-5, so I didn't even get the satisfaction of watching him burn in the kill cam. So that's it for my airplane. So I spawned in my Panzer IV, and right off the bat I see an M18 right at our spawn, and at this point I was getting very nervous, because if there's an M18 at our spawn, who knows what is around us. So I want to try and see if I can ambush this guy, but the thing is, I don't know if he saw me, so this is kind of a gamble. If he is waiting for me on top of that hill and he decided to backtrack, I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble. So I crest this hill and he's not there. Where the hell? Oh, he's on my side. Okay, turn the gun, aim, and I put my shot in the ground, because why the fuck would I not do that? He gets kind of scared, he pulls back, he also puts his shot in the ground, and I put a panic shot in his side, and somehow, I don't know how I did it, I actually managed to detonate his ammo rack. So, nice start, but that was very scary, and that was very poor play on both our parts. So this point in the match, we almost lost it, because we are before the last. What before the last? One of our cap points is getting capped here. We're going to be down to only one last point, which means that if that point gets capped, we're going to lose. So I want to go back, get in a nice defensive position and defend that last point. But on my way there, I do spot a T-34-85 taking pot shots at something. Since 1.5.3 dropped, the zoom on the sniper view and the way that aiming works in the sniper view in simulator battles has been decreased and changed for the aiming thingy. What am I saying? Yeah, just follow me here. So I'm trying to take pot shots at his guy, but since it changed, I'm not very well used to taking long range shots at enemies at this ranges with this new zoom, and I'm missing him completely. My third shot goes in here, I penetrate something, but he shoots me in return, and somehow, I don't know how, he didn't break anything. He only killed 2 of my crew members, and I was already reloaded, which means that when they change places, I will be able to get a nice shot on him. Take aim, come on, put a shot in him right through his front plate because he was on a downslope, so his front plate, sloping of his front plate was not very effective. Managed to get the kill, so 2 kills in as many minutes, so good results right off the bat. Now, the problem is that since 2 of my crew members got killed, the loader position is vacant for whatever reason. I mean, there always needs to be a commander in the tank, there doesn't. If it were up to me, I would put a loader, a gunner, and a driver, and that's all I basically need here. But yeah, like I said, I want to defend the B point here. There's not a lot of tanks still left in the game, and I want to crest this hill just to see what's over there and use my gun depression to maybe shoot at some unsuspecting targets. One of the things that I really love about the Panzer IV is the combination of relative mobility and the gun depression, so you can do things like that. I spot what seems to be an M10 Achilles here, the British version. I put a 1 shot in his sides, and I'm terrified at this point in time because I didn't broke anything in his tank, and my reload, because my loader is dead, it's so freaking long that I can't actually put a second shot into him. For whatever reason, I did not call artillery on his position, and lately I've been having such luck with artillery. Yesterday I got 3 tank kills in like 10 matches with artillery in simulator battles, and that's not something that happens very often. But yeah, he managed to go down into that little riverbed, and his turret is the only thing I can see. I try to put a shot into top of his turret, but I miss him completely. I overshoot it. I stop here, try to reverse, I'm still reloading, and he decides to poke out. And like I said, I didn't break anything in his tank, so he can still shoot me back. And of course, he shoots me in the front plate, and he penetrates right there, and he kills me because, well, that's just how it goes. The thing that's kind of weird is that while British guns didn't fire shells that have HE filler in them, they're still very effective, as you're gonna see in just a few minutes here. So that's unfortunately my first tank down, but because this is simulator battles, I do get to spawn another tank here, and even though I really do love the Panzer IV, the thing that kind of makes me reluctant when I play it is the, well, it's basically just a walking ammo rack. If you get hit in the sides, you can be damn sure that you're gonna be dead, so at this point I'm very wary of that M10 Achilles that was somewhere to my right, but I don't want to be hunting him at this point because we are currently capturing the last point on the enemy team, the first to last point on the enemy team. So after we capture that point, there's only one more point that we can capture. So I go again and crest this hill and use the awesome gun depression in this tank, and I notice an enemy tank that I can't identify at first, but as I get a little bit closer and he peeks out, I see that's a Black Prince turning his back towards me. And while that Black Prince is very well armored from the front, he doesn't have a lot of armor for the back, so I put one in his back and I started getting closer. From the corner of my eye, I did spot what seems to be an Su-85 there. I do try and locate him. I know I saw some movement over there. Yeah, right there on the side. But the thing is, the Su-85 is very nicely covered here by the terrain, and I want to take a pot shot at him. As you can see him over there. But unfortunately, he goes down into the riverbed like the M10 did, and I decide to focus my attention on the Black Prince. Now, the Black Prince does have a lot of armor, and for heavily armored targets, using APCR instead of APHE would be better, but like I said, the APCR does not have a lot of APHE in it. Excuse me, the HE filler, so it's not very effective. So I put another shot in the Black Prince's side. I bounce because the side of the tank is very well armored. Tried to put a shot into his tracks to track him and maybe go around him. I miss and I pull back. Now, he decides to go into that little, how do you call it, riverbed over there, and that's basically what's gonna get him killed in just a second here. Now, I mentioned a few times that the Black Prince is a very well armored tank, but it's not very fast. It doesn't turn very fast. It's very unmaneuverable. So at this point, the only thing that I can do to kill him is basically rush him and try to get around him. Now, as I go down here, luckily his turret is not pointed towards me. I put one shot in his turret on the move, And this thing is so durable. I put 2 shots in his turret already and I didn't break his gun. Put another shot into him, I slowed down here. 3rd shot in the turret, still didn't break his gun or kill any crew members for whatever reason. I tried to put another shot in his turret. That's the 4th shot in his turret. At this point I think I killed 2 of his crew members. And he's getting back away from me. He's almost got his gun on me. I set him on fire by knocking out his engine there. Oh, he's so close to shooting me. I bounce off him once again, and I know there's a hole here I can shoot and get in his ammo rack, and boom, baby! I managed to get his ammo rack out. And at this point, my heart was beating so incredibly fast. That was such a great fight. I enjoyed that thoroughly. And because of these small moments, these amazing small displays of skills and just awesome gameplay is what makes this game, and especially what makes Ground Forces with Germany worth playing. When you outplay a tank that is definitely a better tank than yours in such an engagement, it just feels so satisfying to play in a German tank. Even though that felt great, the match is still not over. I did kill the strongest tank on the enemy team, which if he was in the B point, we probably would have had a lot of trouble dealing with him, but luckily I managed to circle strafe him to death. But yeah, there's still 2 tanks that I know of that are alive on the enemy team, the M10 Achilles and the Su-85, both of which I failed to kill just a few seconds ago, and if I were just a little bit of a better player and had a little bit more luck, the match would probably have been over by now. But yeah, so I make my way over to B, I ping the map and I try to make the guy understand, okay, we need to go over to B because the B is getting capped, that's our last point, and if we lose that last point, we lose this match, and I really don't want to have that happen, because for a German team, especially for Panzer IV, I mean 4 ground kills and 1 air kills is a good result for me, and I want to win. Because in Ground Forces, if you lose, even though you get a lot of kills, you get like 1/4 of the reputation points, not reputation, research points and the civil lines that you would get if you had won. But yeah, it's at this point that the B point has stopped being capped, and I see that in the replay, but while I was playing this match, I didn't see that, and I thought the best thing to do now, because I can't actually see anything over this hill, was to rush the B point. And another thing that I didn't notice is if you look at the left of the screen, you might see him right there. That's the M10 Achilles. So I decide, okay, let's go over the hill, let's rush the B point. I look around, where is he, where is he? He's behind that rock, oh crap. Okay, turn, back off, I want to get a shot of him, don't want to get shot. I spam in the chat, come on dude, he's here. I spam the map, trying to get some help, but I mean, he's in a good position here. He's behind that rock, he knows where I am, I know where he is. The only thing that I can count on is trying to use my gun depression to actually shoot him before he shoots me. So I take a very close step here, trying to see if he's gonna poke out. And this is where I mess up. You're gonna see, he pokes out right here. I put my first shot in the rock, and I try to back off, but no, he puts 1 shot into me, he shoots my track, and now this is my chance. This is my chance. I shoot at his hull and I bounce. I bounce off an M10. The M10 has absolutely no armor, but luckily for me he pulls back and now disaster strikes. I get shot from the side. By what? By that Su-85. This is basically the game killed me because I messed up. I get my gun taken out, I try to move back, he takes my other track out, he tracks me, I'm on fire, I'm repairing, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen, I messed up this match. The reason why I lost this match is because I failed to kill those 2 guys, and it bit me in the ass so freaking hard. I said, spoiler alert, at the beginning of the match, we did lose this match, which is really unfortunate. Didn't get a lot of reputation points or a lot of civil lines, but still it was a very fun match, and it shows you that you can still have fun with Germany. Thank you for watching, my name has been General Soulfax, and I will see you next time.